Yeah, so first of all, thanks for the comments lately. They are really good. It's crazy and so on, you know who you are. So in this video, I want to get into the Hanta virus again. And I found some really crazy connections. And the Hanta virus is together with the Iran war, which is also depicted here, the Strait of Hormuz. It's like the kick-off and the kick-off to the end game, which is about the mark of the beast. X marks the spot. Here we have the X in the middle. And here we have the kick-off. So it's all about facing the hunter, which is L. And L is like the pineal gland in the brain, which is projecting this shit show. And he makes up it's basically an AI, the animal part of ourselves who makes up this shit show projection of which is based on a binary code. So everything is coded, and code means shit. So this is really indeed a shit show. So yeah, it's basically about facing the end boss inside of our brain. And he goes by the name of L, but we also can say Hanta. I made a video about that before the Hanta virus even kicked off. Hanta is L. You can look back at that video. And so if we take a look, or let's first start off that set is the 26th letter, so we are in the year 2026. So set is basically the last letter in the alphabet, and so we are at the end of the line of the alphabet. And this alphabet goes back to, we can view this whole thing like a bat who is able to bring down the alpha animal, which is basically L, or the source of the dual projection. And now we are at the end of the line, and the end game has kicked off, or we could say the hunt is on. And the Hanta virus is basically the wild card, which is now being played. Wild card is like, it has a surprise element, and yeah, it's basically the wild card. It's unexpected. So yeah, the Hanta virus could be viewed as the wild card, which is now being played, because it's about the hunt of the wild animal, which is L. And yeah, the wild animal, basically the beast within. So if we look at this cover, it looks exactly like the Hanta virus, and we see that it's the kickoff, and this also could be interpreted as the brain. We have the blue and the red, the duality, which is depicted, and yeah, it looks like the brain is about to short circuit basically. And there is an X in the middle, which is always marking the spot, because X will be about the mark of the beast on the forehead, and we will go into that. But that's basically the only escape, to walk out the mind through the narrow gate, the narrow path. And yeah, the world is always the same as the head or the mind. That's why they changed the title to The World In. They changed it in 2022, The World Ahead, because the world is ahead. So yeah, we can say basically the Hanta virus is basically the dual AI mind. It's the hunter and gatherer, the fiction that we fell into the mind, into this paradox, this pair of dogs, and it's a complete fiction. And it's basically the virus, because the mind has everything mind. It's like a miner, gathering, hunting, mining. It's basically abusing the spirit, the app user. Yeah, we fell in the app of L, the bite in the apple. So we have to find the exit door, and the exit door is now being presented to us. And the Hanta virus is basically the wild card, and it's basically telling us the hunt is on. So yeah, I got a little bit music going because I get into a better flow state with some music. So the kickoff, in my opinion, refer to the Super Bowl kickoff, because then the Iran war kicked off, but now we have a combined disaster, which we can see also in the Illuminati card game, the combined disaster. And now we have a second kickoff, the Hanta virus. And yeah, who would have thought that the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, the kickoff will start on June 11, so it's about a month from now. And June 11 is like 6/11, and if we turn it on the head, if we view it like this, then we have a 11/9, like a 9/11, and this looks like the two towers are coming down. And yeah, I went into the logo in other videos, but I do it again in this video. Is basically showing you the short circuit. The World Cup is about the Holy Grail. This is the Holy Grail, and this is a structure in your brain, and from which you can basically it's in the middle path, and you can find your way out of the labyrinth of the mind and go through the wormhole, and that's what it's all about. And basically enter the heart, and that's what we see here. We see the two for the duality, the dual mind, the two pillars, the two towers, the twin towers. And then we have the wormhole structure, the Holy Grail, which is leading through the middle, because we meet L on this way, the machine god of the brain, the gatekeeper. And then we can basically transition into the heart. And if we look this from this perspective, at the structure, it looks exactly like a heart. So we go from mind to heart, and that's what the World Cup is really about. It's not this stupid football game or soccer game. It's about finding the heart, the way to the heart. And yeah, the heart became hard. That's why this is a phonetic tell. It became hardened. So basically, to unlock the heart and set the spirit free, we have to get out of this dual mind through the eye of the needle, and basically spark up or enlighten the heart, ignite the heart. Yeah, that's basically our mission, the World Cup, from world to heart, from a dual vision to the heart. You just have to turn it on the side, and you can see clearly it's the heart. So yeah, the kickoff will happen in a month, so we can expect the Hanta virus to very likely get a bigger story. So Hanta also breaks down to H and A. And H always, the letter H is always showing you the short circuit between the two towers, which are being bridged. The end is basically it's basically us inside this A, inside this projection. We have the prison wall, we have L, the pineal gland, who's projecting this shit show. And we have the light behind, which is the light of the heart, which has been captured. So this is our narrow gate, our gateway into the united vision. Because the white light behind the objective, because that's the objective of the game, behind the objective, the white light is of compository nature. Sorry, I didn't get the word right, but it's basically the 7 rainbow colors are refracted and split, and the white light contains them all because it's a united vision. So let's get back to the Hanta. It's like the short circuit of the end, which is like us, or the hive mind, let's say. And this hive mind of L is basically now externalized with all the AI beast system. So it's about short circuiting the beast system, the binary code, the two pillars, and that's why it's another tell right in the name Hanta. And yeah, we have the movie ends, and yeah, he's on the cover like bye, bye bye. And let's go into what this movie is about. It's about the main character's name is Z, and which is 26, the year, and she's frustrated with his role as a middle child in a family of 5 million. So he's basically fed up with the hive mind, and so he's sparking a social revolution of individualism. So then there is a anti-hero, the guy named Man D Bell. So Man D and L. So we have the source of the dual projection again in the name, who wants to flood the anthill, and the anthill is basically this, and drown the worker class. Zed and Bala lead a massive worker uprising, forming a living ant ladder. So this is basically the Jacob's ladder out of the shit show, to reach safety. Man D Bell is defeated in a final stand. So this whole story is about short-circuiting basically the dual mind, which is signified through the antennas. So let's go into the ants. This sounds basically like ants. And ants, basically we have the letter C again, like the main character, and this points to end 26 because we have reached the end of the line, and it's now about the end game. Or the end game. The end game. So, and also the C looks like a 7 and also like an L. So it's about ending number 7, the S, or ending L. Short-circuiting the source of this projection. So yeah, the two antennas, yeah, are basically a symbol for the AI hive mind, or basically the dual vision and the control which these ants are under. Yeah, because they are basically in a hive and are just there to work for some overlord. Yeah, and then in the movie we have the character Chip, and he acts as a kind of drunken, hospitable character who tells the two about the legendary place Insectopia and shows them how to live in the world outside the end state. And that's basically the same as, because he's yellow and he has wings, it's basically the same as the light behind the prison, or the prison, which is projecting all this shit. So he's basically showing them the way to the heart, or the light behind the prison, which is unified. Yeah, so Hunter, another tell, H and A. So we are the ants in the beehive, and it's about short-circuiting this dual vision inside of us. Yeah, to get out of this basically ant hill. So yeah, because 26 it ends, and now we are basically, it's up to us which way we go. It's up to us to prepare, to neutralize and pair the duality within and neutralize it. Find the balancing point. So yeah, in the movies also, I think he spoke some character, I don't know which character, but Gene Hackman gave his voice to one of these characters. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, Gene Hackman is also sounds like gene hacking or gene hack man, and gene hacking is like hacking the human genome through mRNA vaccines. So basically it's an externalized version to hook you up on the hive mind, or hook you up to the beast system. And if we look into his death, then we can read that Gene Hackman's tragic death, how the Hanta virus became a death trap. So Sorry, I can make this shit up. I just show you the connections, and they are very, very clear. So the Hanta virus can become a death trap, and it's about again about this stuff again, and it's definitely leading up to the mark. This whole story, and yeah, there are even patents like from last year, but there are even from years before. The mRNA vaccines are already in stock, they are already in place. So we can expect, yeah, maybe next month when the FIFA soccer World Cup, when the kickoff starts, then we will get into these terrors, into, yeah, what I would try to say, we can probably expect that at some point these things will be rolled out, which is about gene hacking or gene hack man, and which is basically you basically complying into being sucked up by the hive mind, being annihilated, basically. So yeah, the end game at the end of the projection is about the mark of the beast. So because X marks always the spot. So 2 days before the Hanta virus kicked off, yeah, I think the first report came on May 2nd, and 2 days after that, yeah, there was a post being made from one of Elon Musk's companies. I don't think people truly understand what's about to happen with X money. This is Elon going back to his roots. Back to X.com and building what he always wanted in the first place. One place that runs your entire financial life. And then Elon Musk, L in disguise, commented, "This will be big." So yeah, we are entering the end game, the big end game at the end of the projection, which is about X, the mark of the beast. And this is also our, basically the tell is in the name, X money, because we have to completely cross out the false vision, which money is the huge part of, a big part of. And yeah, as it says, the Hanta in the, as I showed in many videos, we are at the end of the projection, we are at the end of the line, the game's up, and now we are facing the Hanta. We are facing the Hanta, and yeah, it's all about going, taking the last stand, taking the leap of faith, and basically take the last stand and go all in. That's what it's really about. If you want to be free, if you want to have freedom, free of domination, if you want to be free of domination, you have to go all in. And so the end result of all of that will be the mark that will be rolled out at some point. Yeah, this will be big, the big end game. So we are at the end of the projection, and now it's time to face our fears. And that's exactly what Alan did in the movie. So if we look at the Disease X page on cepi.com, cepi.com, then we see this strange sigil, and I talked about it in former videos. But let's first go into the Disease X. It's like Disease X, which means X out the disease. Xing out the disease. That's the opportunity we have waited for. So we have to choose the correct vision. And in disease, there's also the DCs. Like D always means two, and Z's, two C's, two sides. Two Z's, two sides, the two brain hemispheres, the binary vision, the dual vision of the mind. And interestingly, they are crossing, the nerves are crossing to an X. So the dual vision has to be X'd out. The two brain hemispheres, the two Z's, and also the two C's, the two sides, the dual sides. So we have to X out the dual vision in order to be free. And interestingly, when we look at this strange sigil, we have the Shiro monogram hidden, but we also have the Hanta hidden in this sigil, and I pointed it out. Hanta. And also the Hanta viruses are shown on the on this page. The viral most wanted. You can look this up for yourself, but the Hanta virus is listed. And this is from 2024, so 2 years ago. If we look in Gematria, Hanta virus outbreak, then we get the 226, which is also pointing to this year. So yeah, we even have the Hunter's crosshair on the viral most wanted page. On this, I will show you the link if it gets in focus. cp.net viral most wanted. And we have the Hunter's crosshair even. And yeah, the viral most wanted is of course L, because L is the target, which we basically have to breach. L is the target, and yeah, we even have the movie Absolute 100, and we can see the target is L, the one eye. We have to tear in the retina, which is an anagram. Tear in and retina. So yeah, we have this little animation, I can show it to you on this side. So we have the Hunter's crosshair, and the target, of course, is the imp, L, the false projector. And this thing sits inside of our brains. Yeah, so the 100-day mission is about developing vaccines within 100 days. But it has additional layers of meaning. In 100 also, in German we say Hund for dog, and this means 100. So it's about killing the dog, and the dog is L. It's basically the pineal gland, which we have to it's the narrow gate, and we have to breach this with the arrow, the narrow gate. We have to be focused, razor sharp to do that, and basically depolarize, decide. So choose no side. It's a choiceless choice, because in the end, if you think about it, there is no choice. If you are aware of all of this, there's no choice. So disease X is also or the Hanta virus is also associated with the end of the world, because if we look at this BBC article, then we read tourist hotspot at end of the world denies causing Hanta virus outbreak. And the end of the world and Hanta virus, there is the association, and yeah, it's basically the southern point, this city in Argentina, which is basically called the end of the world, and that's where this all started. So yeah, it's about the end of the world, and the end of the world means the end of the mind. So then we have this movie, The World's End, and this movie is exactly about the same thing, about facing the fears and basically ending the shit show, ending the the world of control, the world of shit, basically. And yeah, if we look closely at the cover, we have this X on his forehead. And so this whole end of the world endgame is about the mark of the beast. Once again, the world's end. It also forced all people to receive a mark on their right hands or their forehead, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark. So the world's end is associated with the Hanta virus and also with the mark of the beast. And so you have to take the last stand in order to be free. Yeah, in the movie he even has this Eye of Horus thing around his neck. And this is what I showed over and over again. So we have the labyrinth of the mind, and the exit point is right in the middle. So what we find in the middle is this structure, the Eye of Horus structure, or as I like to call it, the Eye of Horus. So I showed this in earlier videos. This is basically about the id complex, the primitive structure in your brain, which is about fear. It's the animal self. And there's the pineal gland, and this thing you have to tear in, basically. You have to shine a light on your darkest spots, where you have fear, where you're afraid. So it's basically the id, or the room 101. There's a hidden 101. And this happens at the world's end. And that's what this movie perfectly shows. Because they find out that they are basically the only real persons, and the rest of humanity was overtaken by the hive mind, and basically they make it to the last pub, which is the world's end, and then he and his friend is facing L, which is looking like this. It's basically the I, the machine god. And yeah, it's about facing L, the I, and the I is also the false sense of self, the false sense of I, me, myself, and I. That's the false identity, which is projected upon or inside of us, and we identify with it. And this comes all from the pineal gland, which is capturing the light of the heart and basically projects this mirror. It's powered up by the heart, by the spirit, and it's basically projecting this shit show. So the machine imp, the machine god inside the brain, because the machine god is, the brain is like a supercomputer. And this is the gatekeeper, the master, the... yeah, I hope you get my drift. So it's about facing L at the world's end. And then in the movie, L is short-circuited, and L is defeated, and he's basically taking a stand. He makes this Jesus posture, which means the spirit and the heart is set free, and the L and his hive mind is basically defeated and short-circuited. And we can see it even short-circuiting in the movie. So we have another movie, Jumanji, and I talked about this in my last video, but it shows everything in plain sight. It's the Hanta, and the Hanta is all about the final enemy, the end boss, which Alan has to face. And Jumanji breaks down to human G, which is the short circuit, the 1 and the 0 combined. And if we look at the game board, it's even like human G looks like an H. If you see it, and the H is basically the same as the G. It's like the two towers which are being short-circuited or bridged. And we have the spear, which is pointing to spirit, to the spirit. We have to basically short-circuiting the duality within the mind, within the world, and we have to cross out the human fiction via the crucifixion, crossing out the fiction. And then the heart is unlocked and the spirit is set free and we are home. So if we look at the game instructions, then we can read adventurous beware, do not begin unless you intend to finish. So finis is like the Latin word for the end. And the English language underlines that at the end the short circuit will happen via this H. So the exciting consequences of the game will vanish only when a player has reached Jumanji, which means he has internally short-circuited the binary vision and faced the hunter, faced the mark of the beast, and called out its name, and it is always referring to the internal shadow self, the it. And it's also about the external shadow self, which is embodied as Trump, the Antichrist, the embodied shadow self on the world stage. And we have to call it out and expose it all, have to bring it to light, shine a light on it, and calling it out, exposing it. So yeah, the exciting consequences definitely point towards this shit show, towards all this suffering, and towards basically this game being hell. So if we go back to the Hanta virus and the story which is presented to us, then we can read that the island virus passenger from Red Virus Cruise visited school, in capital letters, on world's remotest island where third Brit is sick with suspected case. And yeah, they supposedly stopped at this island, and one of, I think, a Dutch passenger visited St. Mary's School on the island. And if you read what is Mary about, I made a lot of videos about Mary. Mary is always about the Holy Spirit, the spirit within. And Earth being like a spirit school. The spirit is trapped in El's skull. Skull and school. So the skull is basically the school, and we have to exit the school. School's out, finish the school, in order to set Mary, the Holy Spirit, free. And you can look this up. Mother Mary, is widely regarded in theology and spirituality as a profound symbol of the Holy Spirit, embodying spiritual motherhood, divine grace, and a nurturing of Christ's presence within humanity. So it's basically the spirit who is powering up all of this shit show. And Mary is basically trapped, and in order to set Mary free, and this was shown in the Truman Show, we have to face our greatest fear, which in Truman's case was the sea, the water, and which is called Meer in German. Mar, la mar, is like Mary. It all goes back to Mary, marine, maritime law. And Santa Maria means Holy Mary. So Truman is about to set the spirit free, because formerly in the Truman Show his wife was called Meryl, and which was the sick, the ill version of Mary, Mary ill. Okay, so if we look at the St. Mary's School on this island, which is called Tristan da Cunha, Trinity, Holy Trinity, tree stand, we see the logo depicts again the boat. Mary, La Mar, Marine, and so on. It's all about setting the spirit free, and there we have the Mary connection. Okay, let's see. We even have 2 movies which came out this year. And by the way, the Artemis also had to do with setting Mother Mary free, because the dark side of the moon represents Mary's shadow self. So the dark side of the moon was it was staged, of course, I think, but it was a symbol. So in this movie, which is called Mother Mary, we see Mary and basically the spirit and the heart is being set free. symbolically on the cover. And then we have Project Hail Mary, which means Heal Mary. And yeah, if we look closely, the main character is facing the L or the projector. Again, the objective, the camera inside the brain, which is projecting all of this duality. And the heart is basically marking with an X. X marks the spot, the end of duality, which is shown. And there's also the bend, like 13 end of L. End of duality, like the flag is showing the checkerboard symbolism of duality. Yeah, the heart marks the end of duality. So this is from the movie artwork, movie covers. So yeah, what to expect? I can't tell it for sure, but it all looks like the Hanta virus is the wild card. It's about to get bigger as we thought, or as I thought at least. And yeah, if we go back to COVID, to end this video, we had in Germany this Impfschlangen, which means literally vaccination snake, because we call Quickie, or I don't know how it's pronounced, Quickie, we call this Schlange, like a vaccination snake, if you get it. It's a wordplay. It was a wordplay. So everyone who took the vaccine basically was snaking. So yeah, it's a dual meaning. And vaccination means Impfung, and there we have the imp, even in the word. And imp means, from a mythological or folklorial perspective, a small devil or evil spirit, often a subordinate to a larger demonic entity, which is L. And the imp, basically, the little imps, were all lining up to these vaccination quickies. I don't know how it is pronounced, but it doesn't matter. You can read it. And yeah, we had these vaccination snakes, because they made a snake move with, yeah, basically getting the jab. And yeah, let's see if this will repeat or not, but it sure looks like we will see some Impfschlangen, some vaccination snakes again. Yeah, that's it for today, and I'm out.